Hi, welcome to this week's Thrive in 5. This week I want to talk about monopoly and how to dominate a marketplace with your business. Really, a monopoly is an ownable space over a useful period of time. And by that I mean you actually construct your business and your marketing and your services to own a specific place or space in the marketplace for a particular period of time. It's quite evident when you look at business and history that you can't have it forever, and forever tends to go away. But in this particular case, you want to own it for a useful period of time so that you get the value of that monopoly that you have in a marketplace. So I want to give you some indicators of what a monopoly actually looks like. And so let's look at these 6 indicators that suggest that you have a monopoly. The first one is uniqueness. And uniqueness could come as a result of a trademark, it could come as a unique of a patent, it could come as a unique place you own in a marketplace. And that could be things like Viagra is a particularly trademarked thing that really dominates a marketplace. Ice wine from Canada. Ice wine is something that has a monopoly structure to it. Those are the kind of things that really come with uniqueness. Price, I think we know this one. That would be the way Walmart constructs their whole model. That would be how Amazon is now constructing the way they dominate a marketplace. Southwest Airlines tends to do that as well. Then we look at tradition, and tradition is one of those indicators that suggest the way people have always done it is really how it happens. So when I think of tradition, I think of Kleenex. Kleenex is actually known as the noun now. You don't use a tissue, you use a Kleenex. Google would fit in here, and Google's a relatively young company, but we actually Google things, and we've created a tradition in search that connects us to that. The next one is emotions, and you know emotional companies, that's Harley Davidson, that's Apple, that's Starbucks. These are companies that grab our emotions and hold them tightly. Niche to me is where you own a particular space, like Campbell's owns soup, and Kodak used to own film and cameras. And in many cases, that one can also be, as a niche, you own a particular marketplace. So somebody might own the legal marketplace for the services they offer. Finally, geography, and I think that one's relatively easy to understand. But geography, if you're the Coke dealer or the Coca-Cola dealer in a particular marketplace, you have a pretty powerful position and you own space for a useful period of time. Now, if you understand the indicators and you combine those or use one or two of those to your advantage, that can be a great thing. But how do you know there's proof that you have a monopoly? The first thing to me is that your prospects see only you. And by that I mean they don't assume there's anyone else in the marketplace. You're the only one they believe is the one that can help them in their particular case. The second one is you're invisible to competitors. And this one is not so much that they don't know you exist, is they maybe assumptively assume you don't have any possible way of being a competitor to them. So when I think about this, I think about overlooked monopolies. And so you think about companies like Enterprise Rental Car, who was often perceived as a nobody to Hertz. But what happened is Enterprise started really getting into the rental car market in a local place, so near car dealerships and that. And Enterprise became actually the largest player in the rental car market, beating Hertz, because Hertz was so concerned with travelers. So when other people seem invisible to you, that's a great place to be. Real competitors are not obvious to you. When you think about Blockbuster, remember what happened to Blockbuster? Blockbuster believed they owned this marketplace and they thought their competitors were the local VHS and DVD distributors, but in reality, Blockbuster got completely annihilated by web-based streaming and cable-based streaming. So actually what happened is Netflix was actually not perceived as a real competitor and actually turned out to be the company that knocked a monopoly company out. Monopoly pricing is proof that you've actually got there. If you're creating money as a result of your monopoly position, such as Starbucks, you're in a great position. And finally, you get high profits. Well, ultimately, I want you to remind you that if you want to own a monopoly, you got to have these indicators and you got to have this proof. And you should be constantly questioning yourself, how do I get that and how do I make that happen? That's this week's Thrive in 5. We'll see you next week.